Hello, and welcome to another honcast.com presentation brought to you by the Google Capital Room. I'm speaking a different language. My name is Sunsfan. This is Xenocide. This is game 2 between Virtual Esports and TMAN something. I don't.
God, look what
Team
happens
Tanari.
when we cast people from like Sweden. You
I know,
you
it
start
just kills
trying
me.
to like talking like Swedish, make them feel more comfortable, and look where we're at right now.
Well, I really make a concerted effort to actually pronounce them, but this one just isn't fun to pronounce. Tiener Mannen. I mean, there's no way I can make that sound good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a
But
tough one. We should have asked our Swedish friend how you should
that's so
pronounce
true.
that. But unfortunately, did not do a lot of background information on the pronunciation of that cuddly Swedish team name. And here we are. But to reiterate what the heck this is, why we're casting this game, and all that fun stuff, this is the third place game for the Club3D Tournament. I believe this is for what, like $100 prize. So they're still playing
Right.
for something. It was best of 3, and this is game 2. We had vRs, or Virtual Esports, or whatever the heck your name is, take game 1. It was a reasonably long game, but we saw Zephyr, I think, being played by Horseful. Wow, like 650 gold per minute for most of that game. So he really farmed it up and ended up carrying them to victory.
Well,
in
the
end.
more shocking thing was he got like a ridiculous like sub 16 minute or whatever it was mock of brilliance, and the other team didn't lose right away. I mean, it was other than Zephyr farming at a ridiculous level, it was a pretty even game. I mean, which is shocking in itself. So I'm not even sure how they lasted that long, considering you had so many tanky heroes on the opposing team with so much survivability. So we'll see what the bans are going to come out here with. So far, well, let's see. So for TMAN, it's actually neat. I should have been using TMAN. That's a little bit easier to pronounce. But they're going to ban Electrician, Jereziah, Torture, and Silhouette, none of which were in the game, I believe.
Yeah, they did
course,
switch
my
up their
memory's so
bans
good.
just a little bit. I mean, they banned like Hellbringer and Magnus last game, no longer there. Polywog being banned, that was played in last game. Um, Other than that, not too many crazy bans. I believe Nymphora was actually the first pick in the last game, so some changes here as far as who exactly people will be playing. But these bans look even more standard, I think, than we saw even in the first game. Jereziah is the only one that jumps out. Maybe is a little bit strange in addition to Polywog Priest. Yeah, you don't necessarily see Polywog banned all the time, but not too much of a shock there, as Hellbringer is actually the first pick. Was not banned in the first game, and now immediately picked up in game number 2.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. I mean, the only two heroes that are banned that were in the last game that I can remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, are Polywog and Nymphora. Polywog on the losing team, of course, which is T-Man, and they played him mid, which I wasn't a big fan of because he just can't really do that anymore. I think heroes like that are just kind of out of favor, and people just haven't exactly adjusted to it yet. And then here we see a Hellbringer first pick, which I mean, it depends on how you play it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a legitimately good pick. The ultimate in itself is just amazing, and there's nothing, even if you're level 6 the whole game, you'll be useful to some degree. But it's just a hero that can be so powerful if used in the right, scenario. So interested to see how they actually use Hellbringer. I mean, if it's going to be in like some sort of support role, dual lane. I mean, it's very level dependent here, very level dependent. So I hope we see him in a solo situation of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, as you were talking about previously, in game 1, Poly was actually kind of set up for success in that game. You had them immediately go for Kongor right off the bat, so he had a level advantage over Midas, and that traditional 1v1 in mid that we normally see Polywog do well in. It's not like he did bad in middle, but he certainly didn't take off like we've seen from some Polywogs in the past. So that was kind of disappointing, I guess, to see just from a big fan of playing Polywog. And you don't really get him in that 1v1 situation as far as you're talking about, because you see a lot of 2-2-1s being played recently and all that kind of stuff. But Magnus and Glacius picked up right off the bat for VRS, two very good support heroes, and that basically is kind of well, I mean, Magnus you can actually play in a lot of different roles, but for me, I'm kind of wondering if they're going to be going for a tri-lane in this game.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell. Magnus, a hero that we've seen banned on occasion, picked pretty much every game, if not banned. Glacius, who we've been seeing come as a very early pick lately, which I'm not sure why, because it's not like, well, I guess teams are picking her, so I mean, I'm just not sure if it's really needed to go for a pick that early, especially considering when there's heroes like, well, Parasite and Tempest, who are both picked up, interestingly enough. I don't think we're going to see a double jungle, perhaps see a Parasite in lane. Actually, either one could lane. Tempest is a great laner, too, so it remains to be
Yeah,
seen what they're
I
actually going to do.
don't know what they're thinking with the Parasite Tempest pickups along with. I mean, they're picking a team that's very one-dimensional right now. I mean, you have Hellbringer, who's a good general hero, very powerful ultimate. Tempest, a good, another hero that can do a lot of general kind of CC, hold people into place. And then Parasite, again, who can kind of gank out of the jungle and maybe do some burst damage. But I mean, Tempest and Parasite on the same team, unless you set up some
Wow.
kind of crazy lanes. It's Swiftblade, Tundra being picked up.
Hmm.
Huh. Swiftblade, not a hero that we see too often in the non-pub setting, so that'll be interesting to see. Glacius Swiftblade, obviously, a very traditional combination of heroes. So,
You know me and
yeah,
Swiftblade, bro. I'm a big Swiftblade player. Since I have no skill, I like to win games with Swiftblade. So that's all I got to say
it is
about
true.
that. But
Usually, when it's like 2 a.m. in the morning and we've lost like 5 games in a row, and you just have this disgusted sound in your face, you're like, "You guys are fucking awful! I swear, I can't believe you're making me pick this hero." And then I see you pick Swiftblade, and yeah, we usually end up winning because it is a hero that sets you up for success in the pub
now, I
game
appreciate your
setting.
imitation of me, but I don't cuss in that scenario. The F word is not in my vocabulary unless
Oh,
I'm legitimately mad in the heat of battle.
I guess that is kind of true, but uh, I'm replacing maybe the F word with some of your usual blatantly racist comments that you'd normally
Now,
make.
see, people are going to think I'm saying the N word now, which I think I've
That's
said
true.
once in my
Yeah.
entire life,
No.
literally.
So yeah, for those of you thinking I'm trying to make any kind of claim, he's no, not
Stop
racist in that kind of
slandering
way.
me, Zeno.
I'm sorry. I ruined your good name in the
Apparently
Gamer
saying
community.
monkey is racist, so I'm just going to throw that's the kind of racist things I say, apparently. I don't understand. If I said hippo, would that offend fat people? Like, I don't understand, you know? Although I guess I could see that connection a little bit. But
Yeah,
regardless,
I'm a little offended right now. How dare you criticize
D-Man
the plus
picks up
size people?
Parasite Tempest, Hellbringer, like we said, and it added 8 Magebane and Witchslayer. So hopefully Magebane is going to go mid with a Witchslayer or something like that. And, well, I would honestly like to see, obviously, Hellbringer solo, like we said, but a Tempest jungle, Parasite lane, or even vice versa. That would be really cool to see.
Well, here's
But,
the hard thing: is with Parasite, with Tempest, you have a lot of inflexibility in your lanes. I mean, as you said, you can put Tempest in the side lane solo, so you can maybe do something fancy there. We've seen a lot of Mage Bane either in a side lane solo or going mid in a 2-2-1, or of course being in some sort of pseudo tri lane with Tempest Mage Bane and Witch Slayer or something like that. It's also interesting to see their two kind of quote unquote support heroes on that team because those are two heroes that can play very hard support, but also heroes that I think both of us like to see get a little bit more farm, get a little
yeah.
more on the level side because Witch Slayer can really take off and so can Hellbringer.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So that they're going to be crippled in that regard if they set up the lanes like we think they're going to set them up. In the meantime, though, the virtual esports finishes their picks off with Pyro. So it seems like they're going to be doing more likely a Pyro mag lane along with Glacius Swiftblade and with Tundra mid.
That is
Or
such an
Tundra and
old
some sort of a solo
school,
top.
old frickin'
Yeah.
school lineup. You have Glacius Swiftblade and then Pyro Magnus along with Tundra who could play mid. And if Tundra does decide to go mid, I mean that is legit old school right there.
Yeah, so Magebane really isn't countered by anybody other than their hero. Just looking at the left now. The Tundra's ultimate will lock him in place. Glacius's imprisonment is actually very underrated in this fact that it's only an immobilized, but that's all you need against a Magebane, so that'll be powerful. I mean, Swiftblade really can't do anything, but he might not have to. And of course, the double stun combination from Pyromax. Actually, they have a really good team against somebody that has a lot of mobility. So I stand corrected. I corrected myself, which I prefer to do other than people correcting me. So that's always nice. Looks like Hellbringer is going to be going bottom, with Tempest going to be. Looks like he's going to be denying creep. Looks like he will jungle, most likely, with a Witch Slayer Magebane mid, and that would leave a Parasite in the long lane top, which we've seen on occasion. And it's kind of like a hit or miss. I think a couple games we've seen somebody, like I remember Z-Freak played it once, and he raped the entire game. They ended up losing, so I guess that's not a great example, but he did well nonetheless. But a lot of times we see him completely crippled because it takes away that advantage in the jungle where you can, easily farm and gank right away with him.
Yeah, that Parasite. I mean, it's weird because they picked up Parasite and Tempest at the exact same time, so it's not like they had like some like change of mind or like something weird like that. I mean,
Maybe they like pick a jungler and both of them picked it at the exact same time.
well, hey, you never know. It's possible. So yeah, as you said, you will have Parasite in the sideline, can deny creeps and all that fun stuff. So he should be able to keep that lane, kind of close to the tower or as close as, you know. Ah, I. Hmm. We've seen a couple parasites that have taken off in the kind of sideline role. I don't really think in a lane where it's been a huge disadvantage like this, it really works out quite that well. He can deny creeps every once in a while, but he's not Plague Rider. People basically play him like Plague Rider, and it doesn't seem to work out the same way.
Yeah, he's like a poor man's Plague Rider in that lane right now, so it's not a whole lot he can do other than deny creeps on occasion, which, I mean, it's going to help to some degree, but Swiftblade, I think, is going to try to be perhaps a little bit more active. That's one of those heroes that you don't have to, I guess. I was mistaken by this a long time ago, but he's one of those heroes that really benefits from early kills, I feel like, because it's just so easy to do so. But bottom lane, Hellbringer, I talk about how I prefer him to solo, but we've been talking about how heroes that solo that don't have any real escape mechanism have been going out of favor because, well, they don't have any escape mechanism. Against that double stun, I think he's going to have quite a bit of trouble. I'm assuming Pyro's waiting for it to be level 2 so they can actually do correct combos on him, but let's see what happens there.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, the one thing about that top lane is Swiftblade's a hero where he is easier to kind of run off the bat to get some early game kills on, so he won't really be able to do that very easily against Parasite at bottom.
But top. He will get 100% free farm, which, at the very least, you want to be able to harass him. But of course, they don't really have any good lanes that could go up against him. Parasite's the only one that can really get away from that.
Yeah, so the matchup to look at is how Tundra goes up against the Magebane Witchslayer matchup and how well Magebane gets farmed in comparison to the Swiftblade Glacius at top, how well Swift gets farmed and how well Parasite can stay in the lane and get experience.
So I'm just gonna make predictions here. I think Tundra's gonna be fine. I don't think Witchslayer and Magebane are. If it was Glacius, it might be a different story because Glacius has a couple nukes where you can actually output a lot of damage with that auto attack from Magebane. But once Magebane actually drains your mana, he's not really going to do a whole lot of damage after the fact, unless he's level 6, obviously, which at this point, Tundra is getting solo XP. So I think Tundra's going to be fine. Top lane, Swiftblade's going to get, like I said, 100% free farm with a couple creeps denied here and there. I mean, look at Parasite. He is level 3, though, so it's kind of surprising to see. Of course, he can just jump in a creep and get XP there, so.
They didn't really hide that ward very carefully to counter the pull, and being able to keep that lane close to the tower and deny Parasite the ability to get a lot of experience is important. Kind of surprised that they did not move to throw down a water revelation there and see if they can try and take that out.
I think I made this was a while ago. I saw a comment on YouTube about this, one of our videos, where I was talking about Magebane doing like 64 damage for every 64 mana. That was a misspeak. It's like I think it's 60% of the mana you drain is extra damage. So it ends up being like 30 something. I don't know the exact numbers. We have a little bit of a dive here at bottom. Magma's not able to hit his stun, so they're really not able to reap the benefits of this dual stun as of yet. But again, Magma's level 2, his stun really doesn't have the greatest range, so although level 1 is pretty much impossible unless you're melee range. So level 2, it's a little bit surprising to not be able to hit that stun. But regardless, I think they in the end, as you so eloquently love to, in my life.
I like ruining everything for you.
As a result, you get it? Did you get it? Ian?
I did actually catch the literal tail end of that, but in the end, the lack of escapability. Well, it's not the I missed everything. I'm gonna say I caught the tail end, but I actually did catch like the last 1 second of him dying.
So the actual tail end, not the literal. No, that doesn't make any sense. Literal tail end means he'd literally have a tail. That's what I would categorize that as.
Well, it's literal, not literal.
Right, I agree. I mean, you and me use literal like way too often. That's another word we need to just.
Literally, I've had enough of you right now. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
But
Tundra is going to be bottling this rune. I'm going to make another comparison to Dota. What do you think about that, Zeno?
Sounds great. I really appreciate the fact that people get to learn the history of Han, where it came from, and I feel like that's a valuable addition.
Well, this one's actually Dota 2, so it's not the greatest because it was new in Dota 2. So This is like the future of Han, then, maybe. I don't know. But I actually made a request to, I think it was, yeah, Idiger. I hope they implement this. What Dota 2 has is you can just right-click a rune. Like when you just walk over a rune or whatever, just right-click it, it'll go in your bottle automatically. And I think that is seriously amazing. Like, you literally can't, like, legitimately, you don't have to click 2 buttons to empty your bottle and all that crap, so hopefully they add something. It's like small things like that that I notice, you know? Like, overall, Han's a better game right now, but when I come back from Dota 2 and I play Han, I'm like, wow, I miss this mechanic, which is like 3 or 4 of those tiny little things which I really miss.
Oh, yeah, and there's certain things I think that you look at as sort of intuitive ways to function with the interface, is that when you transition between different games, you end up kind of missing them. And I think another thing for me is the ability to, when you want to shift items around and stuff like that, it's a little bit different in Dota 2, where you just kind of hold,
left click, drag,
select,
yeah,
you just left click, drag the items around. And for me, that's just so much more intuitive, makes things a little bit easier. But, you know, Speaking of changes to Heroes of New Earth, you were actually on the podcast earlier today, or as it will be when this is actually out, a day or two ago, discussing some of the.
This is like a week ago for you, so, I uploaded this in like 2 weeks.
So what? Oh, fine, whatever.
I'm poking fun at your upload speed.
God.
Not to interrupt you, but yeah, it looks like they're actually going to use some initiation here on Parasite at top. Swiftblade has not spun yet. He's going to do so. No consume for Parasite because he just used it and they killed the archer he was
big
within.
Plays at 6:25 in the game as you're apparently like 3 seconds behind. But
behind?
I'm at 6:32 right now.
Hold on. What are you at?
6:38 now.
Oh. Alright, tell me when you're at 6:48.
Alright, I'm approaching 6:40. This is like one of the joys of having such an awful computer. Now. As we get out of sync every once in a while, because his computer is like, it freezes, it locks up, it doesn't know what's going on. It's like, God, there's just too many things going on. A little bit of harassment going on to Tundra, keeping his mana pool down.
You were saying?
I can't even remember anymore.
Podcast. I was on the podcast. There's a new feature.
Yeah, talking about some of the new features being added coming up here to Heroes of New Earth. What do you think about all of that?
Well, basically, what they announced was that you can watch streams from within Heroes of New Earth, like while you're queuing up for matchmaking or whatever. So, and that opens up like the streaming world to so many more people, because a lot of people don't, visit the forums. They don't visit Twitch or whoever has it posted. So that's going to help the streamers, and it's going to help, perhaps, make the scene a little bit bigger. It really just comes down to how they actually implement it, and I haven't seen any screenshots. I don't know any more than anyone else at this point, so we'll see, I guess. But it's a good idea, for sure. What do you think, Zeno?
Well, at the very least, it gives us something to watch if you get stuck in a abnormally long queue or something like that. Although, to be honest, the queue times haven't been too bad, at least somewhat recently when I've been playing matchmaking games, so not too much of an issue there, but always exciting to see more content and more ways to interact with the community, so big fan of that.
Let's look at the creep score, since this is a very slow game, surprisingly enough. But Mageman, the only one that really matters, 52 and 22, so he's farming really well. Anytime you get 50 before the 10-minute mark, that's pretty much where you want to be, and he's over that right now. He's actually the top farmer in the game is for creep skills, but creep kills. In the meantime, though, Swiftblade and Pyro are very close to each other in 48 and 45 kills respectively, so kind of a more top-heavy for Legion. It's a little bit more spread out for Hellborn at this point. I mean, looking at the gold per minute, you see exactly what I'm talking about, Pyro and Swiftblade at the top.
Yeah, Swiftblade is farming well, but not quite as well as Magevein as far as just pure CS goes, but since he did pick up that kill, he's actually ahead just slightly in gold per minute right now. So we have initiation going on the Magevein. It will barely be enough to get the kill there. Great combination as at bottom. We actually have a pickoff on Tempest, and there's the ultimate, just making sure that they end up getting the kill onto, who was that? Pyromancer there. So a little bit of back and forth all of a sudden, just when we were kind of talking about the game not being hugely fast-paced. An exchange there, you pick off Magevein and mid. On the other hand, well, that's actually, that didn't work out too well for them, as Tempest did get picked up as well, so that'll slow things down. As at top, We did actually have a kill. I wasn't quite sure if he jumped into the creep or not, but apparently did not manage to pull that one off. So, a little bit of back and forth.
Doing really well.
But Swifty's doing well, and actually, I mean, Pyromancer is actually keeping up with him as far as farm goes. Wow, you're going to have a little bit of initiation on the Hellbringer that has one last wave to get the kill there.
Honestly, this is where he's going to start dying over. I feel like.
Yeah.
While that cooldown on his ultimate's up, or down. So, Magebane has the Helm of Black Legion at this point, and Swiftblade almost done with his Runed Cleaver, and he's about, well, he's one item away, the 1200, so he's farming very, very well.
And he's farming very, very well, and they don't really have any way of putting a huge amount of pressure on to prevent him from continuing to farm very well. I mean, it's just too early in the game. Tempest not farming extremely well, won't be getting a portal key anytime soon. You know, so it's going to be hard for them to shut down Swiftblade, I think.
Agree. They really have nothing to stop him. I mean, look at their lineup. Like, what do they have? You know? I mean, the only thing I can think of that's really good against him is the silence from Parasite. He's not even level 6 yet. So, I mean, it all comes down to how well this Magebane is going to farm. I hate to say it. This is going to be Magebane versus Swiftblade farming fest. And so far, Swiftblade is ahead in that fact that he's gotten a kill and he did not die. Magebane has died thanks to that amazing Tundra ultimate, able to hold him in place. But as we're going to see some more initiation here, is Tundra not really taking really that much damage, as you see there. Oh, I stand corrected. Slayer's ultimate apparently does a lot of damage at this point in the game, but Glacius, for some reason, TP's all by herself, and that is going to be the end of her. So, 2-for-0 exchange, so great job by the Legion team extending there. It's a nice Tempest ult. He continued to ult as Glacius basically TP'd into it. In bottom lane, some more action. Pyromancer. I think that was Pyromancer, right? Yeah, Pyromancer gets shrizzled by Paris. I caught the tail end of that one, Zeno, did you?
I did also catch the tail end of that one.
Ah, you're getting better, bro.
I try. As the middle tier 1 tower gets taken down.
By the time I get my computer, you might just end up being a better cameraman.
Nope.
You can just do it from now on, huh? How's that sound?
By all means, sir. I mean, I know that it would hurt you so deeply that if I continue to do it, that I'll be nice and relinquish. Yeah. The camera work.
See how that goes.
All over to you. As 7-4 right now in favor of the Hellborn team. They're up just a little bit in experience and gold, but all of a sudden, I mean, this game started out like 5-1, 7-2, and they're really coming back into it. As we have action at bottom, there's a combination on the Hellbringer. It's taken down. Can't even really get anything off there. And as you've been saying, you know, this is a lane where if he doesn't have a lot of support, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. As we have a sheep going on at Magnus. Magnus puts a stun onto Parasite. Not really quite sure what they're going to do as a face-up goes onto Pyromancer. Pyromancer will get the stun onto Parasite now, but end up dropping as Magnus is trying to follow up with something. It does not look like he's going to be able to do anything. There's this Glacius trying to maybe help out and get a kill, but now they're going to have to fall back. Yeah, a little bit of passive play, I think, from Glacius, but looking at the skill build, went 2 into Chilling Presence, so going for the kind of general helpful skill build instead of the... We really see with Glacius a lot of people going, really ignoring the aura sometimes, so...
Yeah, I don't know, it just depends on your playstyle, and it also depends on your team makeup. I mean, if you're going for a really aggressive lane, which Swiftblade would normally be a very aggressive lane, but the fact that he was free farming and no point in going for higher than 1 level each of your nukes and your immobilizes. Tempest is going to get chased here by Magnus, but Magnus not going to be able to get close enough to actually stun in. So this Pyro Magnus lane, level 9, level 7 versus Mr. Where is he? He's level 8, so actually he's not doing as bad as I thought he was, but in the meantime, Magnus has absolutely no mana. He's going to use his Steam Bath to evade death from Magebane. Magebane does not have enough mana for his ultimate. They should know about this. But in the meantime, Pyro's kind of stuck in here. They're going to get any TP support. Yes, they are. Swiftblade's here. He's going to use his ultimate. It's going to... Oh my god, an instant kill basically on Wishslayer. Didn't actually get onto any creeps, so that was a lucky positioning there from Wishslayer.
Yes,
it's now Tundra has his ultimate.
This will be interesting to see if they continue to hang around here and see if they can sort of...
Zeno.
For another kill. Yes? An item pickup of sorts, by any chance? I'm assuming that means there's a Battle Fury. Well, he's had a Battle Fury for a while. I don't know. Who got what?
Pyromancer.
Oh, does have a portal key now, so a little bit more initiation.
That's gonna be really. I mean, he's very high level. Once he hits level 11, that's an insta-gib on literally any hero, I think. Magebane is the only one that's just a maybe because he has a Helm of Black Legion. But regardless, this tower is going to go down, Tier 1 tower. And Tier 1 tower mid actually went down. I didn't even notice when that went down, but Hellbringer still has his ultimate. Escalation is going to be down in mid to defend that a little bit. But are we going to actually see some pushing power here from Hellborn team, or is that new Ruined Cleaver from Swiftblade going to be used just to farm, and more farm?
Yep. Portal Key picked up onto Tempest. So
wait, where's the sound?
Initiation too.
Hey.
Ooh.
Okay, that works.
Huh?
Hoping for a grunt, but that'll
Yeah.
be.
Alright, I don't know. We have to figure out like an official. There you go. I don't know if I can pull
each
that one
item.
off.
Yeah, blink or portal key is.
Alright, what's the Doombringer then?
Oh, so we're gonna have a stun from Magnus on Hellbringer. Hellbringer's Malphus does come out, and basically a wasted ultimate.
Big ulties.
Malphus like, please, just stay still, God, please.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for him, nothing's gonna come of that. So he's gonna be using him to
Malphus
farm.
is so
take some
desperate
damage.
to make that ultimate worth it. He really wanted to maybe chase people down and make something happen there. Looks like everyone.
Creeps.
Hellbringer is going to fall back, while meanwhile, another tower gets taken down. Swiftblade continuing to farm away, does have Ghost Marchers, so he's very squishy, but again, his farm is really going to start to take off. His GPM is at 450 already.
Is that the same guy? It is. Horsespell. Man, he's a great farmer. I like him. As Pyromancer, he used that blink to come into Hellbringer. Misses his stun, but it's not going to matter because Magnus ends up taking out Hellbringer in the end there. There's the face hook on top of Tempest. Tempest cannot get his ultimate off, and there's an avalanche on top of his face, and he's going to go down. There's a Swiftblade ultimate coming out, and a lot of damage going on here as Magebane and Witchslayer, the only two to survive, and I say that Witchslayer dies right before my eyes. Magebane, the last to survive. The only one that they got the kill on was Magnus, surprisingly enough. So, excellent. You know, it was great layering of both stuns, although the missed stun initially from Pyro, and silences on Tempest, who was not able to get that ultimate off whatsoever. He had great positioning for it too, if you could just not be
good job by
silenced.
Swiftblade also immediately TPing into that tier 2 tower to help out, and he actually got into that team fight after pushing that top tier 1 tower, so always good to see him actively involved in helping his team.
Magebane has a sustainer, so maybe he sees a Rune Cleaver on Swiftblade, which he should have known he was going for to begin with, and it's like, you know what, I need to get my farm on that because I'm a little bit behind, or perhaps going for a Null Stun, which would cancel the effects of Pyro's ult, Swiftblade's ult, immobilized from both. Well, I mean, Tundra is probably the most important thing to take off right now. But there's just so many abilities that can take it off. I don't know if it's the greatest of pickups. What do you think he's going to go for in that regard?
Oh, in all honesty, I would imagine he's probably going for Rune Cleaver. As much as I hate to say it, because you know I'm not a huge fan of that item on Magebane, but I don't really think he can keep up with Swiftblade as far as farm goes, so I would have liked to see him maybe go a little bit of a different route on that one, but we'll see what he ends up doing.
Ooh.
And we have another item pickup.
Shieldbreaker on Swiftblade, of all people. So usually we see that on the more of the range carries, but obviously they don't really have a range carry unless you want to consider Pyromancer kind of a semi-carry, but it's not really the case. So Swiftblade going to be getting that shield breaker, which is going to go right through Magebane's Black Legion. But speaking of Magebane, he's going to initiate on here by both Tundra and Pyro. Are they going to do enough damage? No, he blinks away just fine. As you see, Shiver being taken over by Parasite. He's going to scout everything out here. Wow, Witchslayer is going to get absolutely demolished, so not sure what he was doing there, but I love it when Shiver gets taken over. It's so fun to watch.
It is, especially when they're on opposite teams, as we have a little bit of initiation here. There's Hellbringer's ult briefly canceling, delaying the inevitable, but now Pyromancer will end up dying to the dot damage from Hellbringer. Rest team's gonna have to fall back, as then you see Parasite flying in with Shiver and ending up, he picks up a kill on, who did he end up killing there? Is that Pyromancer there? I think it was. So Pyromancer and Glacius end up dying as we have a little bit of action there. There's the Tempest ult being very interestingly used as Swiftblade also uses his ultimate, ends up getting the kill. Now looking to chase down Parasite, but Parasite has those Ghost Marches sending up Magnus. Oh! 400 damage crit coming out from Horsespell playing Swiftblade. So right now he is 6-0-1, 512 gold per minute. Farming like an absolute beast. Again.
Yeah, I don't know what we can say about Shieldbreaker that would convince people
It's like
that don't think it's
Swedish angry testing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Horsespell. I'm glad. Of all people, I'm glad it is Horsespell since he does have horse in his name. But Shieldbreaker, even if you just leave it at level 1, you know, you're using it just to go through that Helm of the Black Legion. If basically when you pick up Shield Breaker, all the Helm of the Black Legion does for you is give you what, 300 health, 300 extra health total. That's literally all it is. It doesn't take any extra damage away, anything like that. So that's huge, and it needs to be nerfed. S2 needs to be nerfed.
Yeah, I mean, usually we see it on a ranged hero rather than a melee hero, so in that regard, it's slightly unusual, but...
Well, it's great on
yeah,
Swift because his
good
ult is physical, obviously. And when you're using your ultimate, you're also auto-attacking in that ultimate, so you're going to apply that debuff each time. So, very, very good on him. It's just, you're right, not a typical pickup. Usually go for some sort of a slow, or I've seen even people, I don't know why, but they get Geos on him. I'm not a big fan of Geos on any melee hero at all, but
yeah, I think it's usually because you end up going for Frostburn and you're like, I kind of want to turn it into something, and then you get like a Frostful Skull and you think you might as well get Geos too. But I don't...
Some people go for Geos and nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing on that one.
Good. Ooh!
Alright, this has become like a big freaking mystery to me. I have no idea. I didn't even see anyone buy anything.
Magnus has a portal key. Just picked it up.
That's cute.
What do you mean?
Okay, so 3 portal
item.
keys now on the Hellborn team. They're going to have the great ability of having I mean, wow. That is
3
so
portal
much
keys. Wow.
mobility. They're able to, I mean, with the combination of all those blinks, the stuns, Tundra's ultimate, I mean, they can go in and pretty much kill anyone anytime they want, including Mage Bane. So we'll see who they decide to end up and kill in mid. It's the freaking gang squad is just heading right over there. There's a Magnus ult going right in onto Tempest. He does immediately. Now they're going to put the chase maybe onto Parasite here. We'll see if he gets away. It looks like... No, he will not be fine. There's the ultimate coming in from Swiftblade. Horseful laying down the gospel here. And just like, yeah, I can farm like a beast and carry every single game. Now,
Shout out to Horseful, man. This is awesome. Like seeing new people
he has been tearing it up absolutely so far in these games.
I wish I could see him more often. I think we're going to have a look out for him now from now on. As initiation now on the Hellbringer, you see the Pyro coming up, but the spin from Swiftblade will be the end of him. And of course, spinning with Swiftblade, you get the auto attack in that as well. So more debuffs, although not physical damage coming out from the spin, obviously. But regardless, still very, very helpful. They're going to take down this tier 2 tower without trouble. They're in the major lead here at 22 minutes in. Gold per minute is just out of hand again, almost 600. Yet again,
yeah, what a
this time on
beast.
Swift.
And this is a little bit different than last game because we saw him farm pretty much out of control, and then they didn't take advantage of it right away, and then TMAN kind of held on, I guess, for an extended amount of time. This game, they're really struggling to get anything going here, and I think part of that's because they just have a really weird team composition. Like, you have Tempest, but you have 0 AoE to follow it up. I'm not counting Hellbringer's ultimate as any kind of AoE damage. That's just too picky. They really just don't have anything to combo with the ultimate from Tempest. Parasite hasn't really been effective this game. He didn't get levels, didn't really get farm at top lane. You see him trying to go towards the Codex, but he... You know, is it even to the point now where it's going to be all that effective? I mean, I guess he could work on picking up someone like, Pyromancer, who's still actually very low as far as health goes, but... Yeah,
having the Tempest, it's kind of weird to see that he would be better on the other team.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Tundra with a little bit of AoE, but mostly Glacius, Magnus, and Pyro would just decimate with that ultimate. Especially considering when you're using the Tempest Soul, it brings people closer together, as we're going to see it used on one player here in middle. Are they going to even get this kill? Oh, Hellbringer's ult's going to come out. Looks like they will get the kill. HB will use his ultimate to finish off Tundra. But all that used for one kill, is that really worth it?
Yeah, that's a great play by TMAN coming in, using the Hellbringer ult, using that Tempest ult to take down a Tundra that was at like 2/3 health and had no mana. Really, really good play there. And you see, Keppo right now is absolutely like disgusted by the amazingness of that play. He's like, seriously, how the hell did you pull that off? That is unbelievable. I am shocked. I'm shocked right now that vRs has not conceded. They just pull an Idra and rage quit this game. Because if I were them, I would leave. I would just quit.
I know. Look at this. Look at this Malphite just tearing through these creeps. This base tower just stands no chance here. Pyromancer's going to just nuke down the entire thing, so no problem. He's going to farm with that.
Whoa! Huge turnaround as Malphite goes down to the tower there, and now the tier 1 tower drops at top. What is going on here for vRs? They are absolutely throwing this game. What are your thoughts, Shannon?
Yeah, well, Hellbringer is on his way to very close to a sheepstick as he picks up the mana tube. So only, 4,800 away or however much away from oh my god. And Nullstone looks like is going to be picked up on Magebane. Just needs the recipe at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that can take it off, but for the most part, like anything that would take it off is something he wouldn't really want cast on him. So I'm not against that, but at the same time, there's no way he's anywhere near anything that can outfarm or outcarry.
In general, you're right that items fine this game, but when you're going against a Swiftblade who is raping, he's like, look at the gold per minute real quick. Look at Swiftblade. Look at his portrait.
600. That's 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Like what?
But look at the portrait. He is bending Magebane over. Look at Magebane's eyes. It looks like he kind of likes it, actually. Kind of, maybe a little S&M going on there. But either way,
it looks more like Swiftblade is like so high up that he's like looking the other way in disgust. He's like, yeah, you're not even worth me looking at you right now. Get out of here.
But I mean, he just needs to get something to actually counteract that. But and the Nullstone's just not going to help. I'm sorry, that's not really going to extend the game at all. Going to keep you alive, as we're seeing Parasite get absolutely insta-give. He gets a Codex, but he's the one that gets insta-give. So Pyromancer getting somewhat close to a sheepstick of his own, so only about 1,000 away. So she is actually very, very close.
Yeah, you like that Step in the Master pickup on Swiftblade now, so he's going to be doing quite a few bounces with his level 3 ultimate.
It's an awful pickup, but either way, it doesn't matter. It's a really bad pickup.
It kind of is, but at the same time, I mean, it kind of fits in with his build. He didn't really get too many items as far as, stats or anything like that before Step in the Master, so that will just allow him to deal more damage and, get that shield breaker going without being at any risk. I'm not saying it's necessarily the best item in the world, but come on, he's farming it over 600 gold per minute.
But I would get a heart or something. I mean, right now, what is this giving you? This is giving you some stats, and the stats are nice. Don't get me wrong, but the benefits for your ult, literally 2 bounces.
Well, I think quite honestly, you're overlooking the buff of Staff in the Master to give him glowing blue blades.
That's true.
And now he has 2 blades that are glowing blue, and if you take a look at Magebane, he also has 2 blades that are glowing blue. So not only is he out farming Magebane, but he's out glowing Magebane right now.
As we're going to see that level, let's go to level 4 ultimate from Swiftblade going on, basically killing Hellbringer without issue. 4 initiation here. Tempest's going to use his ultimate on a few people, but nobody is there to back him up because they're dead. Your teammates are dead, good sir. I'm sorry to break it to you. As it looks like Wishler's going to go down, Magebane the last 2 survive, so it doesn't matter what Swiftblade can pick up a Void Talisman. Oh my god, that was a huge ultimate from Magebane actually. Gonna get the kill on Pyro. He could actually kill Max if he can catch up, but will go down before the fact. This is gonna be an easier action. Are they actually gonna concede? Wow! A very quick game this time around, but good series overall. Get to see some good play from both teams, but overall, Virtual Esports takes it 2 games to nothing, and they get 3rd place for the Club3D Tournament. What do you think about this series,
I thought that it was horsing amazing. In that Horse Bowl really did a great job for me in both games. So
new favorite player ever.
Yeah, and
I hope it wasn't a fluke,
Yeah, we need to find a way to cast another game with him and see if he can keep the streak alive. And it's one of those things now where it's like you want to keep seeing if he can keep it up. So we'll have to see if we can catch him in another game matched up against another good team and see if he can keep the 600 gold per minute streak going. But for now, they will take 3rd place in the Club3D tournament here. Win some money and win a little bit of pride for their team.
And just to wrap it up real quick, guys, I just want to make another announcement that I've made a couple times, but in case you haven't heard, if you're not familiar with our casting in the past, we basically used to do TriCast with me, Zeno, and our third was Reeves, where that's basically how we became somewhat popular, especially in in Sweden. Swedes love us for some reason. But basically we would make what we call episodes, and it's basically, you think these are casual casts, you have not seen a real TriCast from us. A lot more funny, a lot more stories and things of that nature. And we haven't really done it since we joined honcast, and we're going to try to bring it back to some degree here. So look out for that announcement on our site, which is glhfcasting.com, and that should be pretty soon here,
Yes, a lot more funny, a lot more fun, a lot more Reeves, so it's a lot more awesomeness overall. Looking forward to doing that. Hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. Because it's been a while. It's been a while since we had Reeves along for the ride.
I can't wait to tell some crap stories.
Yep, so with that, we're going to wrap things up. Also, just a quick shout-out. I'm a little bit annoyed with my fellow North American players. Go out and sign up for that TT Esports tournament. You get an opportunity to actually play. This is my biggest pet peeve, not to get off on a tangent here. when we sign up for a lot of these tournaments, we end up having to play at like 11 freaking a.m. or something on a Tuesday against like a Swedish team that would probably destroy us anyways. Because I mean, come on, they're Swedish. Like, what do you expect? And this is a chance for kind of the North American teams to step up. You don't have to be great. Sign up for this TT Esports tournament, and you have a chance to win some great prizes, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, if you haven't done that, I think registration is still open at this point, so go check it out.
And not to mention, we'll be casting it, so it's going to be that much more awesome.
Indeed. Anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for watching. This is, of course, the Inside with Suns fan bringing you another game here. And big shout out to VRS for winning it, and we will see you guys soon.